Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for May 29th through June 1st. How are you doing? Well, we're coming to the end of another month, and perhaps that's a good thing, kind of moving on to a new chapter, a new season. The season we're entering in, though, which we're really starting to feel, because today Mercury has moved over. Yesterday, Mercury just moved over into Cancer. And Mercury's taking a retrograde in Cancer. And in just a few days, Mercury on the 2nd of June will move into its retrograde shadow. So it's going to be quite an interesting time to have the eclipse season, Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde at the same time. And that's going to be for the second half of June that we'll really be feeling that. Like I said, Mercury moves into its retrograde shadow in just a few days. It doesn't take its actual turn of retrograde until the 19th of June. And so that second half of June, actually the third week where we have both Mercury and Venus retrograde, is going to be rather strange. And then we've got the eclipse happening and the solstice happening very close together. And interesting, that eclipse is at 0 degrees Cancer, Mercury retrograde in Cancer. The sun will be moving into Cancer. And so we're looking at this last year and a half of the North Node in Cancer. And did we get the message? And this is a huge energy for us right now. I've talked about it around, especially for the Supernova soul, that there's such a radical change going on energetically. Even though it feels like our world is going backwards, it feels like we're going back to the dark ages, it feels like we're not getting anywhere. Actually, that's a symptom of the fact that there's radical changes going on energetically on the next, beyond the veil. And we're here to be in that energy. But what seems to be hanging us up, these souls, is this ability to receive the new, and it is quite a shift going from, the 3D energies, and you've had lifetimes, this whole evolution of energies working against everything you're trying to do here. Because you're here to bring the light, and you're here to bring the higher frequency vibration, and you're here to represent spiritual truth in the land of the dead, in the land of the materialistic, stream. The whole energy, control energy, paradigm agenda is about getting us to completely identify with the physical. And so in a nutshell, you're here to represent the spiritual, right? But that means you're going completely against the agenda. And how then do the control energies, what's their mode of keeping people attached to the physical? Trauma, fear, right? And so you're here to represent something different than that. But it's so hard when it feels like you're the only one. And this is a big blooming energy right now, which is totally not true, because we're actually coming together, finding each other. There's a huge shift in souls, these souls feeling like, oh, wait, no, I know I'm part of a group, even if I don't feel it, even if I don't see them, I can, starting to open up. And maybe that's a good example of the receiving, right? So the Cancer energy is about, can you come home to the mother, the great mother, right? Can you heal your mother issues? Because we all have a mother wound, right? Because our earthly mother couldn't fulfill the spiritual needs we have within us. I mean, here we have lifetimes of being disconnected. And yet this incredible, powerful, devotional path to bringing connection, right? So of course, it's going to be really common in the Supernova soul to not feel, and this is a big part of the Gemini energy we've been talking about, to not feel received or connected to your parents or to your family, like not recognized, not being able to orient your spiritual self. Even if you were cared for completely on the physical, there's this emptiness around not being received as the spiritual being that you are, because that's way more true to you. And this is why you've been living with an empty hole inside of yourself, trying to figure out what the hell you're doing here, And it all goes back to, of course, this is a pattern over lifetimes, and then it typically we'll manifest it in our early childhood, right? And so this Cancer energy, the North Node in Cancer over the last year and a half, and then now this Cancer eclipse at 0 degrees, which is an initiatory energy, right? It's about moving in to Cancer. So it's a lot of times people on the, it's like technically what we would call a cusp, right? At 0 degrees. And a lot of traditional astrology will say, oh, it's a little of this, it's a little of that, right? But it's not, because 0 degrees is like, let's go. It's like this, it's like there's this kind of excitement and impulse of moving into the new energy because everything's moving, right? That's part of what the control energies, the trauma programming, the agenda of materialism, that is all the way that one of the mechanisms that's been used to create that false paradigm is stopping the evolution, holding back the evolution, de-evolving, keeping us in this place of like coming back and creating the same story, same trauma, same war, same division, same, all of this stuff. And the picture that I've seen in individual sessions is like, these souls, these supernova souls carry the DNA codes for spiritual ascension. You've already gone through it. You have it within you, even if you are totally disconnected to this, it's there. And even though it can be all covered up and mucked up and kind of, it's like sometimes I'm picturing one of the latest images I saw of like barbed wire, rusty old barbed wire around the DNA, because the DNA is supposed to spin. Our whole, everything's spinning and moving. Everything. This is like the definition of life itself is spinning and moving. And so the control energies seek to stop or make the spin pattern go the wrong direction, right? And so that 0 degrees Cancer is like, it's all about moving into Cancer. So it's got a huge energy of Cancer and it's initiatory energy. Cancer is a cardinal sign. Cardinal signs are the starters, the beginners, the new. And so in this case, it's like, and a lot of times, since the nodes of the moon they move back and forth, kind of shift around, that it's like an area, right? But they pretty much cruise right through. They do retrogrades, but it's like a wobble kind of. And so a lot of times the lesson of the North Node, South Node experience comes after they shift to the next sign, right? So this makes sense. We're like, oh, that's what that North Node in Cancer was about for me. Right. And so this is what this is with Mercury, in Cancer now. It's like, okay, here we go. Right. We're in this strange, everything's so weird in the world anyway. Right. And now we're in this strange 2020, June 2020 eclipse season, Venus and Mercury retrograde together. It's just going to be weird, but when we go through times like this, when you come out the other side, which Mercury turns direct on the 12th of July, and I believe comes out of shadow later in July sometime. I don't have it in front of me. And Venus comes out of retrograde on the 25th, just after that powerful eclipse solstice, but it'll take a while to feel Venus. Now, because when Mercury's retrograde, we don't feel like coming out of the Venus retrograde, we're going to feel it a little bit, but it's like, since Mercury will still be retrograde, we're still going to be in some strangeness until the middle of July, and really to the end of July, where Venus makes its third and final square with Neptune. So we've got some strangeness and the super activating strange portal, because eclipses are about revealing things. And that's a powerful energy with Venus retrograde in Gemini and the sun in Gemini for most of, for the first eclipse. And it's like, because Gemini's trying to figure out what is really going on. Gemini's not afraid to explore conceptual ideas, and look outside of the box a little bit. And we really need that. Part of the de-evolving energy, there's like a very deliberate programming, literally like who knows how, poisoning and technological interference to keep us like clinging to, like one of the side effects of remdesivir, which is this drug they're pushing, the pharmaceutical $1,000 a pill drug. You need this for coronavirus, right? One of the side effects of that drug is sticking to long-held beliefs, even after they've been proven not to be true. And I don't know if that's like not a like the apt metaphor for exactly what's going on in our world right now. And that's the method that's keeping us in division tactics, right? Divide and conquer, hating each other. And it's like, maybe that's part of this Cancer energy too, because it's like, hey, humans, if you really are human, if you're not like some sort of hybrid clone, like robot thing that looks human, which I think a lot of our leaders are, right? But it's like, if you're actually truly human, then we all want the same thing in the end. We all want the same thing. And it's simply in this Cancer energy about coming back into connection, of feeling loved and held. And this is what is available, right? Like, this is kind of like, you guys, yes, so you've been totally beat up through this Earth evolution, but now it's changing. Now you need to receive and come back home and feel loved and cared for and get back in touch, receive. So on this level of like, feeling cared for by the earth, coming back into your great mother principle which is represented by our relationship with our physical earth, our goddess Gaia, living, breathing. But then there's our guidance, coming back into receiving our higher self, receiving our spiritual purpose. It's all about receiving. And that's what I feel like this portal is about for you souls. But recognize it is quite a change to go from like everything working against you to receiving all this positive support and help and your friends and your soul group and your soulmate. And, but that's our next chapter. And what seems to be holding us up in this shift is whether or not we feel like we deserve it, which goes back to the Uranus and Taurus energy too, like our self-worth, which has been completely programmed, very much attacked and programmed, low self-worth in these soul groups from these traumatic past life experiences and things like that, right? But this Cancer energy is really, really important. It's also emotional, and we've got Mars and Pisces. So that's going to be powerful because in this next week, we've got this exact Sun square Mars. And that's like, who are we according to the past? Who are we according to the future? Who are we according to truth and lies and delusions? And with Gemini, more of the Gemini, Neptune, Pisces, just insanity, right? And so we've got that going on, a complete rearranging of who we think we are. And then Mercury in Cancer will be trining up with Mars, and it will be squaring up with Chiron. So that's going to be a powerful energy over this next week, kind of like the initiatory energy into this Cancer energy, into this eclipse season, as we move into this, we're 1 week away from the lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, bringing up huge energies around. So maybe this is that other factor around us being able to receive all the good things and the help we need to do what we're here to do. Right? Has a lot to do with that South Node in Sagittarius. So the Sagittarius full moon is going to be really bringing that to surface, maybe bringing clarity. Maybe that will come through the eclipse session of the South Node in Sag is kind of like, where did you get off your path? And do you deserve your path and purpose? Do you deserve to get back on your spiritual mission? But it's like, why are you here? This is the deal about the supernova souls. You didn't come here to mess around. You didn't come here to limp along and pretend you're something different than who you are. Yes, you had to do that for lots of lifetimes, but like, you want to get the heck out of here, or you want to like do what you're here to do, or you want to like complete your process. And that's the deal. If you're going to complete your process here on Earth, as far as your karmic responsibility, it's about full shining. It's about full expression of who you are. And that is the ultimate goal of the supernova support energy available in the Supernova Soul Tribal membership. So I hope you'll check that out on my website. And if you've reached out to me, know that I've just got lots of correspondence, but I will get back to you. The contact form is a great way to get a hold of me on the website, but I'm a little just behind on catching up with all of that with the technological launch. I can feel that these soul groups are ready and available and recognize the times we're in and recognize who they are now. And it's really cool. It's like, okay, but then we've kind of made a launch into this supernova energy, and it kind of is going to take a little stabilization to kind of see where we're at and what we're doing. And so thank you so much for being here and following the work and being a part of this movement and being present, being here, living, breathing on the earth. We need you. And it's just such an honor to be able to work with these amazing souls that are drawn to this work. And so can't wait to see what happens. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you on Monday. I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.